Mr. Mack-Poole, 3-minute history. I'm back. Paper 2 is very, very challenging, and I'm here with some hot topics for your revision. These topics have either never been assessed or haven't come up for a very long time. And this topic is about the high point of détente. Now, if you don't understand what détente is, let me explain. It's when relations between the Soviet Union and the United States of America radically improved. However, this only lasted 1 decade. Talks to Sort 1 started in 1969, but only concluded in 1972, signed by Brezhnev and Nixon. In 1975, we reached the high point of détente. It's called the Helsinki Accords. Now, some historians think this is very important because it was the best the relationship ever was in this superpower relationship between the Soviet Union and the United States. The communist and the capitalist superpowers came together and they seemed to be overtly friendly. Now, what we've got to ask is, what was the impact of this meeting? The impact of the Helsinki Accords was felt in 3 baskets. So, one was about security, one was about human rights, and the other was about cultural exchanges. So, the Soviet Union recognised West Germany. Now, you may think, recognised? Well, what does that mean? How can you just ignore something that clearly exists? Well, the Soviet Union never legitimised, never recognised West Germany. They said it wasn't a real state. So therefore, the recognition of that state seemed to be a great step forward in normalising relations between West Germany and the Soviet Union, and obviously the United States and the Soviet Union. Also, there was another basket, and this one was about human rights. It was agreed that the Soviet Union would expect human rights. Now, as we know, communist dictatorships do not engage in freedom of speech and do not allow any other parties aside from the Communist Party. So even though this was signed up to, I'm not sure how strongly this was adhered to by Brezhnev. And the third box was about cultural collaboration and scientific collaboration. This one actually did prove to be true because there was a handshake in space in 1975. So what were the consequences of the Helsinki Accords? Many historians see the extreme limitations of the Helsinki Accords. Let me explain why. By 1979, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan on the 24th of December, that's Christmas Eve, 1979. This proves to be a turning point in relations from détente. Now, if the Helsinki Accords were important, America and the Soviet Union would have been able to resolve that intervention, as the Soviets called it, or the invasion, as the Americans called it. However, that invasion signalled the end of détente. So if the Helsinki Accords were that important, were so peaceful, were so consequential, then it would have proved that the invasion of Afghanistan wouldn't have had a high impact. So to conclude this video, it really seems that the Helsinki Accords, for all the fanfare, for all the propaganda, for all the kind words from both the United States and the Soviet Union, were extremely limited in their impact. For if they were not limited in their impact, the invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 would not have led to the end of détente. America and the Soviet Union would have been able to resolve it through diplomacy if the Helsinki Accords were so strong.